What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? You heard the music, so you know we must be in the lounge tonight. So I am your hostess with the mostest, Mr. GQ here tonight. I'm doing this thing solo dolo. My co-host is in another country tonight, but it's all right because we're gonna still bring you something live and in color. So as you can see over here, I got this another fine gentleman over here off to my side. So I want you to do us a favor real quick and introduce yourself to the world, my brother.
Yeah. All right now. So better known as I'm Your Realtor, and that's throughout the whole state of Texas, but Jean-Pierre Sanders.
All right, so y'all heard it. This man said, I am your realtor. So, of
That's
course,
it.
on this beautiful round table tonight, we wanted to talk to a black owned business owner. And I said, you know what? I know somebody. So let me bring him on. Let's talk about it. Let's educate the world. So let's get a little bit of a background on you. Know, tell everybody, where you from, kind of where your upbringing came from, and kind of how you got your inspiration to kind of get this whole business thing going.
Well, definitely. So, as you can see, still in the military. So, working in the military, and as people start retiring, they start, going into their second career. And so I had a friend. He used to talk to me every day. He had became a realtor. He used to talk to me every day about it. And his first thing was saying, want to buy a car, want to buy a house. And Mr. Ron Marbury, he's a good realtor as well. You can check him out, look him up. And so then one day he was just like, he was like, man, I want to invest in you. And that's why I was like, what? And so he was like, oh, go to Champions, pull it up. Let's see when the next class starts. So, he was just pushing me, but not knowing that he was going to pull out his credit card and pay for my class to go to Champions. And, even before, like that's when it got real for me. I'm like, either I am going to, take this dive, take this next challenge, or, not. But I ended up doing it, and it was like one of the best things I've done. And even with that, of course, he didn't want his money back or whatever, but I still was able to bless him later on by when I was able to close deals, and saying, and so just by tapping into that world, I'm already setting the stones for for my second career once I get out the military, basically.
Okay, and with that, and so with the real estate game. So, what side of the real estate game are you? Are you in the housing side of it? Are you on the commercial side? You a jack of all trades, kind of all around. Like where you at on that?
And being that I'm 2 years into it, a lot of the more, we want to say, the more mature, experienced realtors, they kind of focus on one thing or maybe one type of client. Or me, I'm everybody's welcome right now, especially just gaining that knowledge and experience of working with, different, closing different deals. It just grows, helps me grow as a realtor as well. But yeah, residential, commercial, multifamily, I'm ready for it all. And even if you're just trying to lease, you're just a renter right now. And and basically we could get you set up where I get you in where you become a renter, but then eventually you as a renter will turn into a home buyer. And so while you're renting, we'll set you up for success to get you situated, whether it's credit, whether because we also have some good lenders that set you up, so when it's time for you to buy, you'll be very prepared. So
Okay, so it's a lot of. It starts with an investment. It sounds like how you got your start, and then all of a sudden, the same individual that invested in you, you showed him a little ROI. So ROI is return on investment for my folks out there that don't keep up with acronyms, but it's okay. It's a little military talk for you. But you gave him a little bit of that ROI. Saying you broke a little bread with him whenever you really started to get it going.
that's it. He showed me love, so definitely had to show love back, and it was all genuine. And it's different when people people believe in you. When you got other people that believe in you, and they, you start to be like, well, man, maybe I can be good at this. So you start to look at it a different way, maybe take it a little bit more seriously, because I'm gonna talk to people regardless. So, I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna help out people regardless if I can in any way. So why not, bless them, and also, bless them while blessing myself as well. So
Okay, so I'm with that. So with the so right now we in the short term phase of it. So what? So long term, we know we talking about the post uniform career and what like that. So let's just say 10 years from now, for the sake of discussion, where are you trying to go with everything you doing with Champion and I'm your realtor and everything you got going on?
Um, Basically just trying to build. Eventually, we're trying to build a team, and so you know, the goal is to let him become a broker. My mentor, he's gonna become the broker, and then we're gonna build our own team, and then I'll be able to transition to that as well. So right now we just setting the groundwork, and really, of course, even though I may be tapped in throughout the state, but first I got to conquer my area. Got to conquer the area. So I'm between Austin and Houston right now, but I'm able to, conquer both areas. And actually, I got contacted by another broker today in the Houston area that I'm gonna sit down and have a discussion with as well. And so, it's all about growth. I try to not get too, not set the plans too far ahead and just focus on that daily activity because sometimes, you miss those moments. I always think life is about moments. So sometimes we can get caught up in too far ahead and we miss the moments that or opportunities that's right in front of us.
100%. I like the thought process in there because I mean it is true. If we start thinking that far ahead, we will miss out on we'll say the little things. We don't even get to enjoy the fruits of the small successes because we so focused on the big goal. But we're like, man, what about these stepping stones? Like you already said it. You building. Eventually, you want to build and cultivate and have your own team. And then so from the sounds of it, it sounds like you don't want to just be in Texas. It sounds like eventually you kind of want to have a little, a little fingerprint or a footprint, if you will, across the US. Am I right on with that or?
Definitely a little bit. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest, you already building on the real part of what eventually I want to get into as well. And so I could see myself, you know, being, mastering or having, being a subject matter expert for the real, as a realtor and then being a broker. But I also got other, you know, things that I want to tap into that I like. Sometimes, money's nothing wrong with making money, and that's all beautiful. But, there's other things that just personally that you may goals or activity that you want to be in that you may kind of put to the side because of your career, because of where you at right now. You just may not have the time to do it. So eventually I'm gonna be podcasting. I'm gonna be another fellow podcaster like you, like yourself.
Oh man, hey, if anybody, hey, I don't doubt it one bit. I already know you already got you got the silver tongue, you got the charisma, you got the swag and the style on deck. So I'm not even worried. I know you're gonna do that, and I know you're gonna be successful. You out there, everything you touch turn to gold type of situation.
Hey, what we say, it's in you and not on you.
Hey,
When
100%.
some people, they work it, they work hard for it and achieve it, and some people just got a gift. And being able to balance that out, that's the beauty in it.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I'm with that, and it does it takes a little bit, we know this with our other one of our other professions. We'll call it like that. We gotta have that work life balance because it ain't easy. I mean,
It ain't,
I'm up here in Arkansas, so you already know where I'm at. So
exactly.
and I'm still here for another month. So
And I was talking to someone about that earlier. They was like, "Oh, so he's at school, but he's podcasting." And I'm like, "There's dedication. That's dedication. And a lot of people, that's the stuff they miss out on. A lot of people want to be doing what you're doing right now, and so that's good stuff. And that's why you're gonna get the results you will get. So
yeah, and I mean it's a learning thing, like it ain't easy. Like being up here, but I was like, listen, I've worked too hard to get to where I'm at. Saying my co-hosts, we've done the same. We've been doing it. We started doing strictly audio,
yeah,
and then like I said, we got lucky, came across, my man Troy, and now, we over here with the from the sidelines family, doing big things. So
okay, definitely,
ladies and gentlemen, like I say, make sure y'all tapping in and checking that out. We do have 4 shows going on per week. We got the basketball show, and it was live and in color on Monday. Of course, Gentlemen's Talk is every single Wednesday, no matter where we at in the U.S., the world. We could be on Mars for all I care. We're going to be streaming on them Wednesdays. All right.
okay,
Thursday, player versus team. It's going down. And Friday, the football show going to be live. We post draft now, so it's finna get crazy. So Y'all be tuning in. Check that out on all major streaming platforms to include iHeartRadio. So y'all be ready for that. So back to where we was at before. So on the, I kind of want to touch back on this realty stuff. I'm learning for my own sake too. I'm actually like intrigued by
Gotcha.
this. So like on a normal day to day for you, like what are you doing? Are you driving around? Are you looking for stuff? Are you seeing online postings? Like what do you do to scout, if you will, potential property you may go buy?
So it's gonna be a little bit of both. It's good that I grew up in the Austin area. So I know, I know the areas. And so I'm able to, tap into the different neighborhoods, different subdivisions, the new subdivisions. So if, I'm speaking with the client and they're looking for, particular type of house, particular type of, whether it be ISD, whatever they're looking for, I'm able to match it up with, certain areas of the city. And, but with technology now, you could at least start the groundwork from the house. You know, we do I'll do a market analysis and just to break it down to you don't want to be looking at 50 to 100 houses. You want to just kind of identify those 5 to 10 houses at least to start to see give your client those options. So I'll do a market analysis from the house, see what fits their criteria that they already provided me, and then I'll go do some research, maybe even make some phone calls to some fellow realtors, that that either work that area, maybe saw the home in that area. Definitely, it all depends on if they're a buyer or seller, also as well. We also want to check, what maybe in the last 30 to 45 days, what the homes in the area just sold for. So if you're a seller, you may want to sell your home for this amount, but was the market, is your house going to sell for that in this market? Are you going to go too high? You don't want to outbid yourself as well, because the goal is, if you a seller, you don't want your house to stay on the market for too many days. You're trying to sell it.
Yeah,
you
you want to catch it. You want to strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah, exactly. And then with the and also as far as the how the market flows, especially right now, is flipping back and forth from a seller's to a buyer's market. You know, and then as far as also paying attention to the rate. So it's just it's a lot of multitasking, but it's a lot of multitasking for one final purpose. And so
I got you. So in this current market, of course, with inflation being, we just gonna call it a roller coaster to say the least.
exactly.
Is that something that benefits you, or do you think it's something that hinders you? Like if you, let's just right now we'll stick to, let's just say sellers for the sake of discussion. Like you dealing with a seller, is it easier for them, or you think it's more difficult for them because of the way inflation is currently going?
Um, so for a seller, it doesn't. It depends on. So for a broader scale, it may kind of stalemate the seller right now,
Okay.
right? Broader scale, but locally, so for the Austin market, it hasn't slowed down. So it's still, with the investors coming in, with the amount of people moving to the city, it still is a seller's market. Now it may not be as hot as it was before, but it's still a seller's market. It hasn't flipped back to the buyer market yet. But right now it's kind of at a stalemate. It's kind of slowing down, and but it's also the time periods. So right about now, we in the month of May. So once we enter the later parts of June, July, that's when you'll start seeing a lot more, traction going on for
Okay.
second buyers.
Okay, I'm following that. So it is everything. So everything revolves around trends, times of the year. Maybe do you deal in? So do you deal in like months, or do you do it like in one of our other professions? Do you deal in like quarterly? Like this quarter it's gonna be like this. Like how do you guys just know like the ebbs and flows of when the market is gonna be like this, based on simply because it's the summer months versus the fall or the winter? Like how do you guys come up with that type of stuff?
So it's just projecting, watching the history.
Okay.
It's of course you assume. is going to be, now so you project there's going to be a certain type of trend in certain type, in certain months, or just watching, the rate, and what's the market doing. So of course, all you could do is project, and so, and then you just make your best analysis off what's the trend that's happening right now, and then also being able to, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to tell the client, maybe now is not the right time. You know, maybe get a few more things in order, and then, maybe, a few months down the road, then that'll be the right time. If you're trying to sell, or even if you're trying to buy, maybe that buyer needs a little bit more work on their credit, maybe a little bit more in their savings. So
Okay.
it all goes together, but each individual process works, by itself as well.
Gotcha. And then and when you go out and you look at these properties, I'm guessing we talking about trends in history. So this is like me being only a two-time homeowner now. I'm learning some of this stuff, just
That,
from dealing with it, because I bought my first house in 2013. We know what kind of market it was back then. Saying,
that,
for the sake of this discussion, I bought that house for about $80,000.
yeah,
My second house was $215.
exactly.
So that just tells you what kind of market, 10-year
Yeah.
difference on the type of markets we dealing with. So when you look at like appraisals, let's play that game right now. So with the house I currently have, it didn't even take a year. We was probably in that house, I'm gonna say about 7 to 8 months, give or take.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, a new appraisal came out and the property value skyrocketed on the house, like getting real close to that three hundos.
Yeah, got you.
So like when as a buyer who's still paying off their particular house and you see something like that, is that something you think draws like a red flag, or you think that's something like, okay, that's a good sign that when it's time to sell, that this house will probably sell for one more than I'm paying for it, pending upgrades and everything else? Or how do you go about seeing something like that?
Oh yeah, no, that's for, if you're a buyer, it's almost like as soon as you bought the house, it was already gaining its equity in it, and so that's a beautiful thing. And it also depends, especially if it works out, if that's not your dream home, or maybe eventually, maybe you don't even want to you don't want to sell it, but maybe you want to rent it out, and you have tenants, so anytime you could build equity, well, that's the overall goal anyway,
Yeah,
building
yeah, of course.
home, and so, that when all that comes together at once, then, it's about making that decision. What do you see? Almost kind of like what you asked me earlier. Where
Yeah.
do you and your family 5 to 10 years from now? So because sometimes what can happen is, and we seen this in the market the last couple of years, some people didn't sell when they didn't strike when it was hot,
Hmm.
and so maybe they held out. But some of that holding out was kind of smart, because, all right, so say for instance, you you build up, you bought a home for 200,000, we just say, and then you build up, maybe now it's appraising at 350. So you didn't build up that equity. But if the market, the house that you may buy next, or you looking at buying next, is in the market's already where the average home price is 400,000, really the money you getting, you just put it into the next house,
Yeah.
you know. So it depends on, what your overall goal is. Now if that next, no, some people don't mind, because that next house that they then built their equity in, that they could put into their next, if that's their dream home, then they're gonna do it. But if you have someone that maybe they want to see their money, they want to put it up, maybe they want to invest in something else, then you may have to look at to, maybe moving outside of that higher market area, and
Mm,
finding you a cheaper home. So all your, the equity that you can build up in your home is don't just go into another home, and you really don't get to see it or use it.
I got you. Yeah, no, that's and I think a lot of it with this particular home that I have too is the fact that one is it's a corner lot. So it's right there by a four-way stop. So it's so as a corner homeowner, you have already a responsibility. One, your yard got to look A1. It's not, it's like if you and I
Wait,
was to walk
but
around without a haircut, what I'm saying? You can't do that. Let your yard be looking some type of way. People be like, hey man, y'all
and you
see that
will
house over there, man?
you will get that call from HOA too.
Nah, not I. Ain't no HOA in my neighborhood. And
Oh,
I've been
okay.
I've been
Well,
I've been blessed times too. I'm trying to keep it that way.
well, then you doing the right thing. You
Yeah,
doing the
yeah,
right
yeah. Yeah,
setting the
well, because
standard.
the next property for me is literally I'm buying land. Like it's gonna be land, getting me a country home built. Like I'm getting out the city. I'm going to somewhere a little more quiet. But
Makes sense.
I gotta wait to the teenager graduate and get out graduate high school and we'll say disappear. Now,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just go do great things.
yeah.
Trying to
Go
be successful
great.
like your kids. You know what I'm saying? Go be college stars, man.
That's it. That's it. Definitely. Go be great, and as long as you already set the standard, so even they may lose their way, but they always gonna go back to the foundation.
Right, they got to, as long as it's a stable foundation.
That's
So
it.
I want to touch on one more thing with the real estate thing, and then I want to pivot because I got one of my favorite people on here. So y'all gonna learn something real quick about the relationship between me and this man over here. But you brought up the word equity. So can you explain to the viewers about equity? Like, one, what is it, and what would you say are the do's and don'ts of equity?
So for equity is basically what you have built up in your investment, right? It's like being in the green and not in the red, right?
Okay.
So, if you want to say, some people may call it profit, so it's the amount of money. So, say for instance, you put $100,000, you made $100,000 investment, or you buy a car. Let's just break it down to I mean, let's keep it at the house. I'll take that back. We'll keep it at the house. All right, so you buy a home like you did for $80,000, right?
Yeah.
If 6, 7, 8 years later, that house is appraising for $120,000. I mean, I'm sorry, is if it's appraising for $300,000. Think of that amount of money you then made off of that initial investment of $80,000, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
big time.
right there. That's like, not everybody is blessed to get that amount sometimes, but even if it's a extra 60, 70, $80,000 home, or $80,000 worth of equity that you didn't build off your home, that could, you could use that for something else. A lot of people will do what, like you just were saying, and that's what we were seeing. You had investors coming in, buying homes, from homeowners for $600,000 that they paid $230,000 for,
Yeah.
and then they'll go build another home, go buy some land, and they'll build from scratch, you know, in a smaller town to get about the city life. And so it's just the money you didn't built up in your investment, basically.
Okay. So make sure y'all took good notes. Make sure y'all understand. And then when it comes to equity, like let's just say you keep in this house, like you done built up some quality equity, like and you decide you're gonna keep this house for a little bit. What would you say are some do's and don'ts to do if anything at all, to do with that equity money? Like, would you leave it? Would you I guess not I guess borrow against it to work on home renovations? Like, what would you say are do's and don'ts with equity?
It really depends on what you're trying to do with the home. So you could borrow. So say for instance, if you want to sell it, right, and uh, you could borrow against it if you want to do some home renovations, maybe two, just because you personally want to do some home renovations, or maybe because you're trying to build up more equity when
Okay.
when it's time to sell. You know, So a lot of people, or maybe you just want to refinance. Maybe you got some old bills you trying to pay. Maybe, you got some taxes, you trying to pay off, you
Yeah.
know. And so a lot of it depends on, every situation is different, but really it's your why. As long as you know your why, then and you didn't establish, because you earned that, you built that up yourself. And so just be smart with how you use it. Some people invested in another property that they may be to go buy another house, or maybe even to it. It just really depends on what your why is.
Okay. No, I'm
And
with that. I'm just curious. Like I like the thought process. It makes sense. You know you earned it. Use it how you see fit, but use it responsibly.
really use it responsibly, and then but what it does give you is options. You have options, you know
Hey,
so
we all like options.
that's it, and you do your research on your options, and then you go from there.
I like it. No, I'm with it. That's it's that kind of stuff right there where it's like, more people, especially newer homeowners, that wouldn't know, okay, I got this in the mail that says I built up, we'll say, $20,000 worth of equity. It's like, man, but what does that mean? Like, what is that something I can use? Or like,
Yeah,
you just telling me how, is it going in my escrow account? Like, like what in the world is equity? Because that word gets thrown around a lot, but
it
it's like
does.
people don't know. And yeah, you could Google it. You can, but
You-
it still may not explain it in a way where you're like, that's actually money that I can use for something productive. Or like, hey,
exactly.
let's say I got, let's say I got credit card debt. I could literally just take some equity out, pay them credit cards off, you know, be good with it
Be good with it, and
and keep it pushing. Like, but if it just sits there, you're like, well, I'm, cool. I got this extra 20K. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it, but
and some people are fine, and some people are perfectly fine with letting it sit there, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that either, you know, and because you think about sometimes when people get to a certain point in life, all they want to do is just live. And
yeah,
and when we say live, like really live,
yeah, of
they ain't
course.
trying to move no more. They ain't trying to do no willing and dealing. They didn't put their time in. They may be retired. They just want to
Mm-hmm.
travel, come back to, they may even have another home in Florida, and their vacation spot. And they just want to live, and they'll just let their equity build up. And so then what happens is, everybody doesn't live forever, and then sometimes that'll be the family house, and so now it's up to the relatives, the kids, to see what they want to do with it next.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
and we've seen that, with you and I being, two different ages, we've seen, something like property, right? It across generations has gone completely different. You know,
Definitely.
kids in our generation like, oh man, parents love us a house, cool, but then you'll see other generations like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm gonna sell
They
that
don't
immediately.
wanna- they
You
won't
know,
sell it
and
immediately. Yeah,
then you don't even know what you have. You ain't do no. You can tell you ain't do no research. You ain't read into it. It's like, listen, if you got property in your family, I'm just gonna speak to the masses.
yeah.
If you
Go ahead
got
and break it
property,
down.
what I'm saying, property, and I ain't talking about like 5, 10 acres. Now I'm saying you got 20, 30, 40. You got a ranch in the family. Don't let that thing go.
Don't let it go.
Don't let that go, because you
Don't
have
let,
no idea what you have in your possession.
exactly.
If my family would have left me a ranch, boy, I tell you.
I'm telling you. And sometimes it may be where you know, and let's be real, gentrification,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah, big time.
And if the city come knocking on your door, they want their property for a reason. They see the value in it, and sometimes I think that's what happened. And that's why I say stay in the moment, because sometimes we miss seeing the value, in what we have, or even the legacy, or what your grandmother or your mom then
Mm-hmm.
has left to you. And so you lose the value, and you don't see the value in it. But guess what? Somebody else does. They may want to come write you a check for it, and
Mm-hmm.
you may see that money, and initially, and it's in your face for whatever that check that they want to write for. But this thing, if they trying to give you that, then think how much, if you hold on to it, it's going to be worth 5 to 6 years from then.
Exactly. But see, it's like our parents used to tell us, saying, oh, that money burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
You see that money, you see them zeros, and you're like, what can I do with
Definitely.
all them zeros?
Definitely. And so then you go back, and that's where it all ties in together. And that's why our realtor is so important, because we're gonna do the research, or we already seen, we're reading, and we're making sure, we're updated on, what's the plan for 4 to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
What do what's this, neighborhood, what are they trying to build around here? What's gonna be basically upgrading the community, you know, And so who's investing in the community? Who's buying up all the properties? Why are they
Mm-hmm.
buying up all the properties? You know, and so it's a lot of investors right now that's buying the homes and either renting them back out or reselling them, and it's changing a lot of markets. And so
Yeah,
for
we saw
young,
that real quick. Like I
yeah,
know even when we was buying the house we have now, like people were basically blind purchasing. Like
yes,
we was on Zillow, we looking at, oh man, we're gonna schedule go view this house. Boom, somebody bought it cash. Didn't even go look at it. I'm like, so you just gonna buy this house? You ain't gonna even go look at it.
and
But I
that's what
mean,
we
just buying a problem, like what if you buying a lemon? Let's call it what it is. What if you buying a lemon? Like, but I guess if you gonna buy that thing blind, you got the kind of money to fix that lemon and turn it into a golden lemon and sell it to somebody else.
definitely, and that's what we call a seller's market. Sellers
Got
love
you.
it. That's heaven for a seller. That's a gold mine for a seller. You know, but then
Okay.
got somebody like my parents. You know, they seen all their neighbors sell their houses and go. And my parents was like, no, they love where they at. They love their neighborhood. They love their community, and they love their home. And yeah, they have built up a lot of equity, but they're comfortable. They living. Matter of fact, they're on a cruise right now,
All
living.
right, look, that's trying to be me next year. I'm already looking at cruises for next year. Like I like that. I like when people travel, man. Like
Definitely.
I don't. As one thing about this current generation, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, you spend all your money on all this material stuff. Instead of as opposed to really what you could do. Spend it on memories. It's something I learned from my wife. You know what I'm saying? That was her big thing. When she had came into some money, from some situation, she was like, it's like I spent my money on memories. I went on trips. I went to Europe. I did this. I did that. I'm like, that makes more sense. What's more valuable to you, the material things or the memories that you went to go to? You went to Italy and actually drank the wine instead of what you see on the movies. You actually
Yep.
experienced it. You got on them little boats, or you went to Paris and seen the Eiffel Tower. Like you did these things.
Yep.
You and I are fortunate because of one of our other professions. We've been able to just to travel and go
Right.
see,
That-
countries we otherwise wouldn't even be able to have gone to, given circumstances, if you will. One, just because
that-
because of the way we look and they assume things, but like we've been able to go see places like Ireland. We've been to Germany. We've been to Romania. So we've
Definitely.
seen these beautiful places where most people are like, man, I'm only seeing that on TV. It's like, hey, but you need to see it in person.
Yeah. And it changed your whole perspective of the world. It
Oh,
changes
big time.
it changes how you treat people. It changes you being grateful for things, the little things in life.
Yeah,
So,
you realize what we take for granted here
exactly.
when you start seeing things that other people wish they had,
Yeah. Yeah.
or just experiencing something different.
That's it.
Because the atmosphere of the family style atmosphere that I experienced in Ireland was one of the best things I had ever experienced. Like it was dope. Extremely. I say this when I talk to a lot of other people. Like Irish folk remind me of Texans.
Yeah.
Like they down to earth, they real welcoming, they cool. Like they don't treat you no different. It's like y'all been down that y'all whole lives. Like that is actually a dope thing.
No, definitely, definitely.
But you don't.
That's
Oh
how
yeah.
Germany was too. Good parts of Germany.
Oh well,
And
we know the stories.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because some people get down there and they don't come back.
No,
They
and I
don't
don't
come
blame
back.
them. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't blame them. There's if you in that position in your life, hey, stay.
No,
You ain't got to
definitely,
come back.
definitely. You know, and it just I call it M&Ms. Like you said, your
Mm,
wife said memories, but it's the memories and the moments, man. And to me, that's what you live for.
I
Memories
like that.
and moments. Because you ain't taking all that money with you. When you gone. Now, what you should do is make sure you have life insurance. You
Big
know,
time.
because that's if you look at the many ways where the different class of people you know gets wealthy. A lot of times it's what's passed down to them. And a lot of times and we have struggled just to bury family members.
For sure, because we know
Cookout,
funerals ain't cheap.
it ain't cheap, you know, like funeral homes making money. And so, but that's a whole nother subject for
Yeah,
another day
it
though.
is 100.
We'll leave
percent
that
So
alone. Yeah,
yeah, so I wanna we've had our what I like to say we've had our business talk. So we're gonna pivot. I want to get into this fun talk. So I got this little special segment that we like to do. So I think you're gonna enjoy this. So let me cue this video up, and then we're gonna see what you got going. So something we like to do every single week on Gentlemen's Talk is watch TV. When you watch TV, you see millionaires do dumbass shit. Like that's just what it is. So the first millionaire that I'm gonna highlight, and I'm sure you saw this because you watch as much sports as I do. Your man Dylan Brooks.
That dude right there, man.
The Grizzlies say they not bringing that man back by no circumstances whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is what happens when being a dumbass goes wrong. They was talking about this man might be playing beside Dwight Howard in Shanghai.
Oh man, you know what though? You know what? Because see, people, I remember Dylan Brooks in Oregon.
No, I do too.
He was a hooper. So this is what we know what's wrong with the NBA. They don't have enough veterans on the team. Because a veteran on that, like this thing, if Udonis Haslam was on the Grizzlies, would Dylan Brooks be doing that dumbass shit?
He'd have had his moments, but he wouldn't have been as outlandish with it.
Exactly, you know, and especially you man, come on, Macho Man Randy Savage, come on, man. But if this is the thing, and I was okay with it until, you know, it was like, you dumb, but that's all right. You gonna get what's coming to you, and that's what happened. But when you get that ass whooping, you got to shake hands. I mean, you gotta go address the media.
Yeah, you gotta stand on that box.
You gotta stand on it. You know,
you talked a lot of hot noise.
That's
you know,
it.
With your little sunglasses on. You know, he old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna be disrespectful. But then when when you got that tail tucked between your legs, you want to go hide in the corner.
And then
man.
And then he gotta remember, like, and what they realizing is like LeBron a OG in the game now. So it's almost like he didn't even have to sick you. That whole Lakers team was hot, and they showed it. You know,
they was on his head. They was on his head. Oh, when they played that whoop that trick, I was like, oh, dog.
What?
Like the boy LeBron hit him with that Godfather treatment. He just left. He's like, all right, y'all got this win. I'm out. My man hit the tunnel on him. I was like, dog.
I'll tell you, man.
The disrespect was real. But I was like, look, man, like it's one thing, and we being sports guys, we know this. Like it's one thing to talk your shit. It is. But you got to back it up in some kind of way.
Some kind of way.
Like,
what you doing?
Can't just be loud. Like you can't be loud and do nothing. Which is exactly what he did. Like, oh, okay, in game 2, I believe it was, he hit a couple of threes. All right, cool, whatever. But what else did you do?
Yeah.
Like
you can't hit one shot and then start talking.
No, because then I'm sure I don't know how many people caught this. Because so Brooks was being petty and was like, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna force him to use his left hand, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but LeBron took you to the rack and hit that left hand on you. I think that was the layup that forced overtime, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I was like, he took you to the rack with the left. If that ain't the most petty thing, like I'm like, hey man, you let him go left.
You let him go left,
and he put that thing on you.
And if you were like, you got to be good at what you're supposed to be good at, right? So if you a defender, you better be good at defending. Like, like if you are an offensive player, if you a shooter, you're supposed to be able to shoot.
100%.
Like if this what you hanging your hat on, because everybody not a superstar that can do everything.
So there's not very many what we'll call all around guys in the league. Not like that.
So if this is what you're supposed to do, you better do it well. Defense is supposed to be your calling card, and you didn't stop nobody.
No.
If Luke Kennard wouldn't got hurt, he might ain't even played that last game too much.
You sure right. I think Kennard probably would have started over him, but because he just, I don't know. And but you almost forget that Brooks is that much older than like the young talent of the Grizzlies. Like Steven Adams was their OG, but he's more of he's that quiet leader. He ain't the
he
most
do it.
Yeah. Now they said he talked and stuff in the locker room, but I'm like, Dylan Brooks wasn't listening to Steven Adams. Granted, Steven Adams and him throw hands. I'm pretty sure Steven Adams
Oh
put that
man,
boy
what?
down. But
Yeah, yeah,
that man is solid. That ain't. I
yeah.
remember him in
You can't
OKC.
mess
That
with
ain't
that
somebody you just you don't just talk to Steven Adams any old kind of
one.
way because he might hurt you.
Well, man, man, Dylan, and then uh, that dude. But you know what? I think if he get on another team with some veterans, I think he'll be all right. I think he'll come back down to earth. This was a humbling experience for. I think it was a humbling experience for all the Grizzlies.
Oh
You
yeah. Well, I mean that team was spiraling for
know, oh my goodness,
much of the season, and it started up top. It started with their best player.
their best player. When the owner says, come out right, that yeah, you're not coming back. That's it. You know,
Yeah.
so that's yeah. You he basically talked. Even if he played bad and not said nothing, they probably would have brought him back.
Yeah.
But your dumb ass, like you say, dumb ass, then taught your way out of job. That's
Yeah,
what
like you was out there, trying to be Draymond, but I'm like, but Draymond got accolades. You ain't got that. You ain't got no
yeah,
defensive player of the year. You ain't got as many first team all defenses. Like let's pump the brakes. You ain't even got no all-star nods. Like
yeah.
let's stop the cap here.
You just
Like
talking.
but and I agree with you though. I think he'll be a solid player on the right team.
Yeah.
Like I do. I don't think his NBA career is over, but it's definitely done with the Grizzlies. Like
You
I
know
think
what?
he could play
Go ahead.
well with a team like Milwaukee.
I was just for to say, I think the person that he was trying to aggravate, I think if he went and played with LeBron, I think LeBron helped him get his mind right.
You know,
Like,
a lot that did come up. That came up on a couple of TikToks, some other forums I watched. Like what watch him end up being,
yeah,
teammates with LeBron. And I was like, I can see
think
that.
about it. Remember J.R. Smith?
Oh Lord, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen all the versions of J.R.
Exactly.
Smith though too.
But then when he got to the Cavs and he got on with LeBron,
Oh
that
yeah,
it changed, and he even said it. He was like, I realized all I gotta do is make open threes and play defense.
mm-hmm.
That's it, and I'm gonna get paid and win some championships. Oh yeah, it just. But when you get with that type of leader, though, you gotta conform or you gotta go. It's either one or two.
Yeah. There's no way around that.
Yeah, either you get
Like
down or you lay down.
I'll say this, being the fan I am, I think he could play well with a team like my squad. I think he could play in Miami as well.
Oh
Because
yeah,
he ain't he not crossing Jimmy. I'm tell you that right
nah,
now. Jimmy,
nah. But
Jimmy and
that
Bam will
whole
put that man in his place. But I do think with that type of a culture, he would fit.
he would fit.
He just need to keep his mouth shut. He
That's
keep his
it.
mouth shut because defensively he'll be fine because he'll fit in. Because
That's
Miami's built around having those players that are long, play defense and he don't shoot that well. He'll
But he
shoot
has
well
shot better.
enough. Yeah.
He shoots
Yeah.
better. But that's why I was going to say earlier. He self-checked himself.
Oh yeah.
That's what he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
did
yeah.
self-check. Like they was self-check. They ain't gotta go out there. He instead of getting a LeBron head, he got his own head.
Yeah, he couldn't. He couldn't live up to his own trash talk.
Macho Man. He could live up to his Macho Man, Randy Savage impression, man.
Exactly. So I wanted to highlight one more dumbass millionaire, only because it came up literally during my lunch break today, and I'm sure I don't know if you saw this or not, but
Okay.
Jackson Mahomes, man.
I seen it. I didn't get to read the
Man,
report, man.
I saw it. It hit my phone, and I was like, let me read into it. This man, this is like we'll say the fifth or sixth time this man that came up in some kind of negative light.
Yeah.
Of course, with the disrespect on the Sean Taylor memorial with all the damn. No, that was already enough. But now you got three counts of assault. You got a potential battery charge. Now, obviously, these are all allegations, but then you had the whole nightclub incident before this with the video where you got your hand around old girl neck, and I'm like, dog, come on, man. Like, and I'm assuming he's got good bread because he has a lot of following. He is an influencer. Influencers make good bread too. But I'm like, bro, look who your big brother is.
Right.
But in his own right though, like Jackson Mahomes ain't small.
No, not at all.
I think he's damn near 6'7". Like he could have been a D1 athlete. Like the dude is, I think he's somewhere close to 6'7". Like he's a big dude, but but I'm like, but you chose this path, dog. Like
It's,
this the path you chose.
that you could get letting that little stardom get to your head where you would think you're invincible.
Yeah, it's like you start wearing the you start wearing the name a little too hard. Like we know who
Yeah,
your big brother is.
yeah, exactly,
You not him.
exactly.
You not him.
Look,
That's
look, it's
that's
like
your brother. But come on now.
I've been saying this, and I know you watched the game last night. It's like it reminds me of like Randall, Julius Randall. Like,
Okay,
and I have to say, because like Julius Randall, you're not a superstar. Now you a star, like you an all-star,
100%.
but you're not a superstar. And a lot of times he wants it to be like he could see somebody else like Brunson. We seen him last night hit 3 or 4 shots in a row. Instead of passing the ball to the hot hand, he wants force a contested shot and
Yeah.
find the person that's hot. But it's because you want to be the man so bad,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like envious, not jealous, but just kind of envious.
Yeah. You
Bronson
you
feels like,
envious because you see the shine that this Brunson first year there,
yeah, and
and
he take
he
yeah,
taking over.
and so Mahomes, he not jealous of his brother, but it's like I'm a superstar too in
Yeah,
my
but it's
own
like,
right.
but you a superstar of what?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like of what? Like granted, yeah, you got a following on social
Yeah,
media. You doing you doing your social media thing, which is great. Be good at that.
exactly.
Stop all this off the platform because you ain't on no field. So I got to call off the
Yeah,
platform curricular activity. Like just stop it, dude. Like it ain't worth it.
exactly.
Like it is not. And you putting you putting your legacy, and your family's legacy. Let me play this game a little differently. You
Yeah,
putting that last name in jeopardy. Now, granted, Patrick has done everything that Patrick can do to keep it great.
yeah,
You are finding ways to sprinkle things on it that it does not need.
yeah. At all, and it's it's no reason for it.
No, it's not. Like bro, you have access to do pretty much anything you probably wanted to, for the most part, and this is what you chose to do.
Yeah, it's
Like you in that position where I'll be like, I don't even know if I can claim you right now. Like I'm a, I might have to, like I'm like, come on,
yeah,
dog. Like, because what I'm not finna do with these type of charges, I'm not finna bail you out of jail. Like you done made this bed.
it's definitely exactly.
Like you 100% gotta lay in this one. Like I'm sorry, like you starting to do some things that you crossing a lot of lines.
And you know what? You may need to sit in there just so it might save you.
Yeah, this might
Because
be,
if you
as he
keep
says,
getting
it might be his come to Jesus moment.
yeah, because if you keep getting them crutches, it's a lot of time people get those crutches, and so then they keep doing it and keep doing it, and then they never hit bottom. you
Yeah,
know. And so sometimes you gotta hit bottom to rebrand yourself, to hit that restart in life and your thought process. And so he may need which is sad. You shouldn't have to go through. And it's like it's okay if it's affecting you, but when
oh
it's
yeah,
affecting others, that's the problem. If
yeah,
it's
and
just affecting,
that's the problem.
yeah,
Oh, I see. We got Mr. Your Goat in the building. What's going on? This is our resident Detroit everything fan. So
okay,
also a professional troll because he loves all things Detroit Lions, Detroit
man.
Pistons,
I
all
don't,
those things. So
I don't know what Detroit did with that draft, man. I don't know what they did with that draft. No, it wasn't bad.
no, it wasn't a bad draft. It was good for what they needed it for. But
Yeah, I see
no,
they
we
traded Swift and stuff. So
oh yeah, they would have been fine if they just avoided these gambling allegations. But boys don't learn their lesson. It's like, oh
yeah,
man, we didn't learn from Calvin Ridley for some reason.
yeah. I just don't understand it. I just don't
No,
understand it.
no, I don't either. But how you feel post draft about the state of your squad?
Oh, we good. We good.
Being the rep, being the let me shine the light real quick. This is our resident Niners fan, just so y'all are that way y'all are
Yeah.
following. Y'all know what's going on. So this is the man with Mr. Brock Purdy and C Mac and the
Oh
whole
man.
quarterback crazy situation they got going on over there.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right. And we solid. Got us a good safety. We drafted we ain't drafting till the third round, but we drafted what we need. But I swear, John Lynch is the best GM in the game to me.
That's
Like,
hard to argue. It really
it,
is hard to argue. What do you think with your quarterback situation? Do you think you trade Trey Lance before the season? You think you hanging on to him? Like what do you think?
I think you got to hang on to him right now. I mean, I still would go with Purdy as my one. Like, I'm just sorry, Trey. You just get hurt too much, and you got to earn that. And Purdy earned it. Look where he got
Oh
us.
yeah. Now Purdy put that cape on.
Yeah. So, but as we see in the NFL or even college, like, you can never have too many quarterbacks.
No, the Niners know this. If
Yeah.
any franchise knows this, you need quarterbacks because I don't think I've ever seen a team that has a revolving door of quarterbacks like yours. Like,
We
but
went
they've
through
been
four
fortunate,
quarterbacks,
Yeah,
four quarterbacks last season. That's
and that was
crazy.
rough. That was rough. And you had two that you couldn't even use because they were already out. You had Jimmy G that was injured already, and Trey Lance was already hurt. So you had Brock Purdy plus the others.
Dane Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he got concussed in that game too,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah, like the couple plays in.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of mad at Purdy at first until
Yeah,
I realized he was hurt.
yeah,
When
no,
he
that
went
he had
back in,
that shoulder injury and everything
he
else. Like
had
he
that
was,
Tommy John surgery. Yeah. So, but at first I was like, man, you gotta shake that off. We trying, because I know Philly is good, as we know, but we was playing pretty good too all season. And Purdy got hurt on the first drive of the game. What,
mm-hmm,
first, on the first play of the game almost.
damn near the first play. It was
Yeah,
it was within the
it's
first
first
15.
drive.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
within the
yeah,
first 15 script that he got hurt, and it was like
yeah.
just it was never the same. You know what that game looked like? That UT game in the national championship when Colt McCoy got hurt. That's what it looked like.
Uh,
Because we
the,
already know what would have happened. We all we say what would happen. We hope what we knew what would have happened.
but think about, and I tell people, that game changed the paths of UT and the
Mm-hmm.
path of Alabama. That's what started Alabama dominance. And then, with Nick Saban, and then that's what had UT just swirling until, we just got Steve.
Yeah.
So we back now though, baby. We back. Yeah, we
Yeah.
right.
No. I mean, I like. I mean, y'all did. But you had both running backs got drafted. So, but
Wow.
from the looks of it, you guys got a fire freshman running back coming into the mix too. So
Yeah, said bit
so
bastard.
yeah.
But
So not a bad rebound, if you will. But it's hard to replace somebody like Bijan. It is.
he different.
He different.
He different. He
He
different.
different. I've been
What you
I've been
think about him wearing a Vic number in Atlanta?
I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first because I'm like, I was like, man, I was like, it's kind of disrespectful. Not on his part. It's not his fault. I'm thinking about the organization. I'm like,
Exactly.
but I'm like, are you basically, if you're the Falcons, are you basically taking all the good that Michael Vick did and throwing it all away behind the situation? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
But I'm like, but they never retired his jersey. And he's been out of the game. What are we going on? What 4 years?
Yeah,
4 years now that he been out the
maybe.
game?
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
it's
about five,
close because I think
4 to 5.
The Steelers was his last stop.
Yeah,
So I
four to
want to,
five.
yeah. So and y'all still ain't retired this man jersey, and I'm like, I mean, the number's still there. Like I'm
They
not,
don't
I'm
have
not mad at Bijan for taking the number.
no, and I'm so if anybody, and that's why I guess it's different for me. If it was anybody else, I may have felt away. But Bijan, that's a good young man. And
Oh
so
yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
that's a
so
generational player,
yeah,
and
he's just gonna keep that number alive, if anything.
oh yeah,
He gonna
and Atlanta got lucky because I was talking about it all pre-draft. I said, listen, if he falls to number 10, I said Philly was gonna take him. I
Philly
said,
was
I
gonna take him.
guarantee you Philly was gonna. I was like, boy, if Philly end up with Bijan. I was like, dog,
Oh my
you want to
goodness.
talk about a cheat code?
Oh my goodness.
Bijan and Jalen? Come on, man. That's not even remotely. That's not even remotely fair.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Philly was gonna take him if not. But so Atlanta, surprisingly, you know, They ran the ball the best last year too as
They
well.
did, and I like the running backs they had. Of course,
Yeah,
Cordell Patterson was doing his damn thing, but then the young guy that came along. I had him on a fantasy team. I forgot his name already,
I
but
know you talking. I can't remember his name either, but I know.
Algier, Tyler Algier.
Yeah,
So now you got a good, Bijan and Algier. That's a good. They have a great young core
they do.
with
They
Drake
do.
London, with Kyle Pitts, add in Bijan, add in Tyler Algier, and then we're gonna find out what the quarterback situation look like. We're gonna see if
Yeah,
was it Spencer Rattler, I believe his name is.
yeah.
We're gonna see. Like
That dude right
we're
there.
gonna see. I'm gonna say it like that. We're gonna see. Because if,
Yeah,
if if anything holds this team back offensively, it's gonna be him. It ain't gonna be them weapons.
not at all. Not at all.
And it's not a lot of young quarterbacks that get this abundance of weapons.
I
So
still think he need to sit though.
I mean,
Don't
but
let,
in favor of who? Like they weren't active really in the draft when it came to quarterbacks. They didn't really sign
but they
any
got what's his name from last year? He was a rookie, right? Let's
the
say
quarterback.
yeah, quarterback Atlanta. I can't remember the quarterback name. He a young quarterback.
I thought that's who Rattler was. I thought he was a rookie last year
It's not Rattler. It's
because they had Mariota and then they let him walk off into the sunset, and then Rattler started at the end of the year.
let me see. I don't think it's Rattler. Now you got me looking. Ritter. Ritter.
Oh, Desmond Ritter. Yeah.
That's who it is. Not Rattler.
Yeah.
Ritter.
Wrong. One of them R's. Yeah.
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 That's who.
The Cincinnati boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So
don't
we go.
think he's that bad. I just think you got to play. But I mean, it's quarterback in the NFL QB, and this is hard anyway. So
Oh
you
yeah. No.
know,
You gotta have the right things in place to be successful. Like you just do.
exactly.
Even if you a stud, if
Yeah,
you if you know if you got a trash O line, you
yeah.
kind of some people can overcome it. I mean, granted, hey, Joe Burrow overcame it when he went on that run to the Super Bowl. He overcame a bad O line.
But he's
Still got
special.
beat up a lot, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
special. But he's
He's
special.
yeah, yeah. The ones that's not special, they need a
Yeah.
they need a line in a running game. They need
Mm-hmm.
in a running game.
Yeah, because then you be out there looking like Zach Wilson.
Ah man, definitely.
Yeah, no, we ain't gonna talk. I ain't gonna even talk about him. He was the trap quarterback of the draft. I don't care what anybody say.
Yeah,
Every year we have that QB, and I'm like, nah.
yeah. So who you think that might be this year?
I thought it was Will Levis.
You think he's the trap quarterback?
Yes.
Well, they didn't fall for it.
No, that's why he fell. He fell out the first round. Like I really do. I watched the film. He's not terrible,
Yeah.
but you're not finna tell me that he was the best quarterback in this draft. Like you're
No.
not. You can't show me any film that proves that was the case. You
Now,
can't prove that he wasn't better than Young. He's not better than CJ Stroud. The whole thing with
Richard,
Anthony Richardson, I'm like, I don't know.
but you
But
now, what if he's the trap?
he at least has the athletic skill set
Eh,
to get by. Like, I don't think the same could be said about Will Levis. So that's where I'm at with him. But I'm also a big fan of Hayden Hooker, who I think is also could be a really, really good quarterback once he comes back fully healthy and everything else.
Definitely.
So
No.
that's another one I'm watching. I actually like Stetson Bennett. A lot of people don't like him. I was like, I like him. He's a winner. He's not super overly mobile. He's not, but he's got
Dub
he's
look,
got a yeah, he's got a good enough arm to be successful in this league.
no,
And I
definitely.
think I think him being drafted to the Rams is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh
If
yeah.
anybody can make him shine, it will be Sean McVay. Or it
No,
would have been your team if Kyle Shanahan would have got his hands on him. I
I
think he
think,
could have been good.
and I think he's gonna be. To me, he'll be. And this, in my opinion, I think he'll be like a Colt McCoy, right? He,
Okay.
kind of on that edge. I don't think he's just a starter, like, but he be able to come in if your quarterback get hurt, win you some games, you know, keep y'all above water, and then but be in the league for 10, 15 years as a backup, a
Yeah.
good backup quarterback that could still win you some games. And
Hey.
even if you got to play a whole season because maybe your quarterback got hurt, like a Brissett,
Yeah.
or like that, he'll be able to do it.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. That's how I feel about him too. Like, but I still, like I said, I think he still will be a good serviceable quarterback for
Oh
this
yeah,
league. So I'm 100% with that. So,
yeah, beat that.
oh yeah, no, for sure. So I want to close out one more thing. So we got one more little, we'll call it segment, if you will. It's my favorite segment of the show, of course. But
All right,
we gotta, we started real high, and we had our little fun, and then we like to, kind of bring it down and get a little real with them real quick.
okay,
So this is where we're looking at. Be trying to kill them with all the sounds, having music on deck.
oh yeah,
So when we bring the real talk to the fold, what we simply like to do, like I said, we like to bring a few topics to the fold and essentially just have a discussion about it. So I got somebody that's wise beyond their years on the mix with me. So this will be a good conversation to have.
oh yeah,
So the beginning of the show, we talked about black owned businesses and all these things of that sort like that, and something that me and my co-hosts have talked about before, and we've talked about this on other shows as well. But and I wanted to get your take on this as well. Is why do you think when it comes to us being successful businesses and whatnot and things of that sort that it's literally most of the time our own people to hold us back from getting to where we need to be?
yeah. It's really, to me, all in the end, it's about support. It's about support, you know, but it's still from both ends, right? Um, so say for instance, if you own a restaurant,
Hmm.
any type of business, like first and foremost, it's about customer service, right?
Always.
Always about customer service, right? And so if I walk into your business, and especially if it's my people business,
Hmm.
you just expect a level of, whether it's respect, attentiveness, just the normal common courtesies. And so you even more disappointed when you don't get there, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
then, so as a business owner, you gotta also, sometimes you can't just always hire family,
Yeah.
you know. Sometimes, if it's business, you gotta keep it business, you know. Now, but you could have family in it, but it's the business got to be about the business. Family can't, it can't be, oh, because you my friend, or you my cousin. Oh, you could come in. You ain't got to come in today. You come in late, or stuff like that. Or because we grew up in a time where no matter what, the customer was always right. No matter what,
100%. No matter what the situation
no matter
was.
what the situation was, the customer was always right, right. And so that, to me, that's always been a big pet peeve of me, because that's for anywhere, but especially, like I say, I'd be more disappointed when it comes to my people. But just in general, sometimes it be access.
Speak on it.
And so what I mean is access, right? So part of, we used to be able to keep everything in the community,
Hmm.
you know. So, of course, we love convenience.
Oh, we know this.
We love convenience. I mean, think how much money the candy lady made in the neighborhood.
Man, the candy
It-
lady, the cool
awesome,
cup lady.
you know. And so it's like we have to be more persistent, as far as, even if I gotta drive across town to go to this black owned business to get this particular item, even though I could go here to get it, and it's
Hmm.
couple, like, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's like, because every other community supports their community no matter what. They'll drive across town, like they're gonna go wherever they gotta go to get
Hmm.
wherever they need to get from people that look like them.
Yeah, and then you have, we'll go, and then it's like the first thing we do, we look at the price, and like, dang, why is it so expensive?
Why it's so
Or
expensive?
or why I can't get, why I can't get it for the discount or this, that, and the other. I'm like, listen, you don't do that when you walk into these
I,
malls.
you
Like,
know, I'll pay me some. Like you see the oxtail plate 25.
yeah,
I play that because I go to Papa Do's and get me some fried catfish I could have did
mm-hmm,
at home, or some etouffee from
you
Papa Do's,
know,
and you spend that much money and buy drinks and everything else.
yeah, it's no different. Like,
It's not
it's really no different. Like, you gotta support. Like, you just do. Like, it's because it's an investment. No matter how you look at it, at the end of the day, it's an investment. This person done put, they hard earned money, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. And the first thing you want to do is look for a handout.
a handout.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like, listen, if you want to wait for something like that, catch them when they having some kind of promotion or something. Then, but on the
it,
rest of the day, hey man, they still got to make overhead.
we got
They still got to generate revenue. They still got to keep their profits a certain type of way.
yeah,
We know most new businesses, especially restaurants, will fail in the first 2 years
yeah, definitely.
because you gotta your food got to be a certain type of way. You got to build up your clientele, if you will. Like, you got to build these things up. But if I'm in here giving everybody discounts, what am I building up? I'm giving away my product,
That's it. I'm giving away.
and I can't do that. You don't walk into Michael Kors and ask them for a discount.
Nah, definitely, definitely.
Granted, they have sales. They have sale. Oh, that little $500 bag all of a sudden dropped to 300, and you like, oh, I'm gonna go get that.
Nah,
But
definitely.
you got my man Kenneth down the street, making custom bags, and selling them for 350, 400. And you're like, nah, I can't pay that.
But see, and that's what's crazy. Like I think we forget we make everything hot.
Yes,
The only reason the Gucci, the look is hot like that because we make it hot.
we are the billboard. We
That's
are the
it.
advertisement. Like that. That is the part that we just completely forget.
Yeah. Like you got people, Hennessy. Like it's only, you see Nas in the Hennessy commercials. Like
Yeah.
it's us making all these different things what they are, but we could also do that for our people. And so
Yeah.
it's like, you'll see another culture, I ain't for to say who, but how they'll, you know, you'll see, 4 or 5 families staying in one home.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? They helping each family save their money. Now that one family go buy them another home, pay off a car. Then the next family buy them a home, pay off a car. They then took care of each other. So by the time it's all finished, now all 5 families that all live together started from nothing. Each one of them
Mm-hmm.
home. They didn't create a business together, and they living. We I don't know why it's so challenging for us to do that and think like that.
I don't think we have that village mentality anymore.
Hmm.
Because that's what it is. It's that village mentality. Like, you been together, you been down bad together, struggled together, but you also prosper together.
Yeah.
Because y'all all decided, all right, look, this is what we gonna do to bring everybody along. Like, and we see it with a lot of famous celebrities. Like, we'll take somebody, even just LeBron, for example, brought his whole team with him.
Mm.
When LeBron started, he started making it big. He's like, look, I got my team. I've had the same people for forever. I'm gonna help them build their brand. And look at this man's circle.
Exactly.
All of them successful
All of them.
by simply a small investment.
That's
He
it. Smart.
invested in his own people, and look at him.
Nah,
Look at
definitely.
the agency. Look at the production company. Look at what's going on from an investment in his own people.
I ain't gonna even lie. I started questioning um Lamar Jackson as far as his decision to
Hmm.
the agent decision. But you know, s- sometimes you gotta admit when you're wrong. He made the right call because guess
Yeah,
what? His mom gonna get that 3%.
yeah,
Like you made the right call. You know.
yeah. At the end of the day, we're not, we weren't him.
Yep.
He made that decision for a reason, but he's also not the first. You know,
Exactly.
let's go back 8, 9 years. No. At this point now, 12 years. Darrell Reeves did the same thing.
Yeah.
Represented himself.
That's
Got
it.
that big deal from the Jets, though.
That's it.
Like, it's not unheard of, but now granted, it's unheard of for a quarterback.
Yeah.
The one position, the quarterback.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad at him for seeking what he was going to go get.
Oh no,
And
not at
and I think at the end of the day, I think it was more than that, because before he signed that deal, look what else did the Ravens do?
all. Yeah.
They started actually signing talent, signing, more than just, you know,
Hell,
giving Lamar. They stopped giving him just scraps. They gave him comparable things to actually be successful. Like,
exactly.
in no world should a quarterback's number one receiver be a tight end.
No, not at all. Not
Like,
in the NFL.
not in this new NFL. That worked in 2010 when Tom Brady had two tight ends.
Yeah,
That's a different story, different era, damn near a different era of football altogether.
pretty much. Yeah,
Nowadays, you got to have a burner. You got to have a slot guy that can just do it. You got to have a tight end who can run block and who can get out there and catch passes. Like,
you gotta have.
you got to have two running backs almost. Like, you got to have
Nah,
everything. Like,
definitely.
and now, you know, I think the Ravens are better for it now. So I'm
Mhm.
glad that it went that way for them, for all parties involved. Like, it sucks that you had to do that with an organization when you
But
gave them literally everything. You brought an MVP to them.
and he was stern, and that's what made them. They realized they thought they was going to break him, but
Yeah.
his patience held out. You
And I
know,
love that he didn't buckle to all the naysayers. It was, I mean, he was getting drugged on
he
everything, but
was
he never came out and said anything. Like,
never.
not directly.
Nah,
Now
this is
he
the
didn't take the
emojis.
no
And,
now he didn't take the KD route and, have a burner account and do all that other stuff. But he didn't come out and be like, I didn't do this or I didn't do that, or oh, he declined this contract when they offered him this. He was just like, just watch.
that's it. That's
Just
it.
watch. And look what happened.
That's it. And you know what? I want my worth, and I know what I'm worth, and this is what I want.
Yeah,
And
and that's how I
and
look at it.
he was willing to sit out, and that's the thing. A lot of players not willing to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to invest in yourself,
You know?
no matter what the profession is. But when we're dealing with football players, you have a limited shelf life. You won't be this young forever, so you got to get the bag at least once.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Like, I don't hate any of my running backs for trying to get their bread, because running backs, you getting paid to get beat the hell up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I should be compensated at least once. I should at least get one good
Good
contract,
pay. Yeah, definitely.
out of my, we'll say, 10, 11 years, and I'm going to play maybe even only 7, 8 years,
Yeah,
because if you got running backs playing all the way through their rookie contract, and then you're like, I'm going to do your 5th year option, and then I'm going to franchise tag you. And then I might franchise tag you because you got that cat for like 8 years
he
before you
never
pay
got
him
that
his
big
first
pay.
big bag. Like, come on,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
let's keep it a buck. That ain't. I
I
mean,
ain't
it's
right.
cool. I ain't mad at the billionaire owners for finding a way around it. But you know, if you drafted this guy and he's produced like this for you, why you not taking care of him?
And then remember, a lot for these owners, only these teams are not even. It's not to make money like that. Like this, their hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
This their they got money. You
Yeah,
know.
most of these cats, this is just what they do on Sundays.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So, but then and then on the flip side of that, for these players, like this, they life. This they
this is what they
lifeline.
do. This is
This
they.
what this they job.
Yeah.
This how they
So
take care of their family. Like and so and
yeah. So
like
you
you
can't
said,
you can't pay them pennies.
yeah. And people be like, oh, they get millions of dollars, but that's for their profession. So like you don't compare that to you working over here like a normal person. Yeah, they getting paid millions of dollars, but for that job that they're doing for their profession.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's gonna be a difference where if I'm making 3 million and you making 12 million, yeah, to y'all 3 million is a lot. But in
Yeah,
my
that's
profession,
generational wealth for some people.
yeah, exactly. But in my
Especially if you came
profession,
from nothing.
yeah, in my profession, I'm not getting paid my worth. You know what I
No,
mean?
and I don't knock professional athletes for making what they make, because at the end of the day, this is what we know. You are worth what someone's willing to pay
There
you.
you go.
So if
That's
you
the
go to
thing.
school for 10, 15 years and you become a doctor, that's why you make the money you make as a doctor, because you had to put the investment up first, but now you a doctor. You wanted to go be a surgeon. You wanted to go be a lawyer. That's your profession. That's what
That's your
you
profession.
decided to do.
Oh
These
yeah.
athletes, whether it's male, female, whatever the case might be, they have a skill set. They're maximizing it. Now you have this new
Okay.
generation that can start maximizing it earlier with NIL deals. And then they
Yeah.
go to the pros and then they start getting the endorsements. Like, they have a chance to start making that life-changing money earlier.
Early. Exactly.
Now, I hope that they smart with it, and I hope they invested accordingly. So when they go pro, they don't go broke after their, 5, 10, 15. Some of them have 20-year careers. Hopefully they don't
Yeah,
go broke after they done. But I hope they got smart people in their back pocket,
yeah, that's it.
just kind of guiding them along the way. Because
Do
that's
it
my
right.
only issue I've ever had with all the NIL stuff is I'm like, who's educating these young athletes on, hey, you went from having next to nothing to I'm gonna
All,
give you $1.3 million now, you know.
what you
But
gonna do with it? How you gonna use it?
yeah, like somewhere there has to be enough education, or maybe you took it upon yourself, like, you know what, I'm gonna take a basic accounting class,
Mm-hmm.
just to have an idea of what I should do with this amount of money. Or maybe you got a family friend that's in that kind of stuff. But I hope somebody is in their corner,
And the,
helping them, so that
and the
we
right
don't
people.
hear about this 10 years from now, like, oh, you remember this player, he got a
Mm-hmm.
$7 million NIL deal, went pro, and then all of a sudden 5 years later he's flat broke.
And a
Like
lot of time
how?
it be because of bad investments.
Yeah.
You know, they oh, somebody come to them with a great idea. Oh, I got an idea for this club. I got an idea for this. And they just handing out money. You know, and so yeah, like you say, it's real crucial that circle you keep around you, and
Yeah.
you got to be knowledgeable about it yourself.
Yeah, no, you have to. Like, you got to understand, like, all right, cool. Your friends might have great ideas. Guess what? All great ideas ain't $1 million ideas,
Exactly.
because that's money you having to put up. Like, if you got to put that $200,000 investment up front, that's coming out your pocket.
At your pocket. Yep.
And you might not see any type of ROI on that. You hope for the best, but I'm not don't come ask me, for help if you ain't got a plan. I need to see the business plan. I need you to sell me on your plan. Don't just tell me, oh, I got an idea.
Definitely,
Okay,
definitely.
you got a notebook, you got something written down, you got a PowerPoint for me. Like, would show me something. Like,
And
I'm
then
not gonna just cut this check for you.
as that person that you investing with, family or not, you gotta also know what you're willing to lose, because it may
Hmm.
go bad, you
Real
know.
bad.
And so, are you okay with losing that amount of money as well?
And
You know,
possibly that friend on top of that.
exactly. So yeah, you
It's
know,
a slippery slope.
it is. It always say it's a thin line between love and hate.
Boy, what? And then you start involving money and family.
Oh, it's ugly.
It's a whole nother ball game right there. But
Definitely.
but yeah, that wraps up our real talk. Like I said, I love to have those kind of conversations, because I always just like to see where people's heads are at.
Oh
See if they can take something like that. And I caught you. So I asked you a question. I seen the look. I was like, oh, the wheels turned. I was like, oh, he thinking
yeah.
about it, because we've all had these thoughts before.
And it's
But
like you could
not. But
go so
some
many ways.
people won't talk about it.
Yeah, you could go so many ways with it. You like, well, which way do I want to go with? Because it's so many conversations within the conversation on it.
It is, but but you want to. I always tell people like this: you want to be able to have those conversations rationally.
Got
like
to. Yep.
like you and I can have this conversation. There are some people I can never have this conversation with, because then they'll just start getting rational. They'll start calling me all kind of names out my name, because they think I'm trying to hate on our own people. I'm like, no. I was like, somebody has to ask that question,
Yeah.
because we've seen it.
And that, I mean, it's a lot. Ain't like it's not the elephant in the room. So ain't like these type of questions or thoughts ain't already being asked. They just sometimes don't be brought to the light.
Yeah,
So,
no, 100%. Like, and that's the problem, is like we don't have these conversations enough.
mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
now, and it's, I don't know if it's out of fear, and I'm like me, I don't give a damn. I'll have a conversation. Call me what you want. But
Yeah,
we are the only reason that we hold our own selves back from ultimate success. It ain't nobody else.
definitely.
I'm the ones that use that excuse. Oh, the man this. No, dig deeper,
Yeah, got
because
to.
that's a cop out excuse, because that ain't what it is. Because
Yeah,
we've seen plenty of successful black million and billionaires that have made it,
nah, definitely.
and
That
they didn't use that excuse.
is it.
So go second and third level deeper.
That's it. Go get it and don't
Who
stop
Yeah,
trying.
who's really holding who down?
Yeah.
And now we know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all coming through tonight. Mr. Sanders, it was phenomenal having you on the show
Sir,
today.
sir,
It was a
appreciate
great conversation with you. So
Definitely.
do us a favor, tell the people where they can find you on social media, drop your handle so they can follow you, let them know about your business, so they can, come get some more knowledge.
Definitely. On Instagram, you can find me at I'm Your Realtor too. Facebook, same way. Find me Jean Pierre Sanders, I'm Your Realtor. And email sandersbliss.com. Sandersbliss512.com.
That's what I'm talking about. So make sure y'all check him out. Make sure y'all drop a follow from that man. Y'all let him know, hey, we heard you. We heard you talking on Gentleman's Talk, man. We want to get some more education, man. Let this man school you up, man. Let him get you right because it's a lot of knowledge in that brain over there, man. Don't let it go to waste. Don't just be entertained by this beautiful show. Go
Yeah,
out there and go get you some. Go get you some of that generational wealth we've been talking about on this show.
definitely. It's all about building. It's all about building.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Mr. GQ. I'm about this thing. Mr. Sanders, I appreciate you for coming through. This
No
has been
problem.
another great episode of Gentleman's Talk. We've been in the lounge. I'm going to finish this drink and it's going to be a good time. So we out.
All right now.